U.S. gun manufacturer Smith & Wesson posted record sales for its fourth quarter and full fiscal year. Annual sales were up 42%, a trend that's pushed the company's stock up almost 100% in the last 5 years. So why are U.S. gun manufacturers doing so well? Roza Kazan investigates.
This wall was extremely bare.
Salesman Mark Warner describes a gun rush at the store in Virginia in the last few months, when these AR-15 military assault rifles were selling like hotcakes.
When guns would come in, people would call every morning, hey, did you guys get any ARs in? Yes. How many did you get? 6. Okay, I'll be right over.
The reason? U.S. President Barack Obama's call for a ban on assault weapons, including the AR-15. The weapon Newtown, Connecticut shooter Adam Lanza used to kill 20 children and 6 adults. Managers here say the demand for firearms did pick up after the tragedy in Newtown last December. Sales are up 20%, but now it is ammunition that's in short supply.
Go ahead and slowly move your finger down to the trigger.
Instructor Judy Rudick brings her own ammunition to the shooting range now. She says prices almost doubled in the last 6 months. Rudick says gun owners are stocking up on guns and ammunition, fearing a government ban, and some are first-time buyers.
I'm getting a lot more women and a lot more couples that come to me and say we're considering purchasing a firearm, or they've already purchased a firearm and they have a box and they say, now what do I do with it?
Safety also matters to gun collector and firefighter Dale Clonan.
I do like to shoot. I'm very good at it. I also do like being prepared for self-defense. I know what firearms violence does to a community. I've seen it firsthand. And I just don't want to be a victim.
But gun violence prevention expert Michael Shank believes restricting gun purchases is long overdue.
We have deaths in the order of 30,000 a year. If 30,000 Americans would die in a war zone, we would act with a level of urgency not seen on the gun safety debates.
Shank says Americans legally own an estimated 300 million guns. And while recent mass shootings have revived the gun control debate in the United States, they also have driven up gun sales. Roza Kazan, CCTV, Virginia.
Joining us to talk more about why guns are such big business in the United States and if this will continue is Guy Smith, a researcher and editor for Gun Facts. Guy joins us from Mountain View in California. Thanks for joining us. You know, over the last few years, we've had the Sandy Hook shootings, we've had the Aurora shootings, we've had the shootings in Tucson in which a congresswoman was badly injured. And every time after one of these shootings, we get this huge public outcry. Yet gun manufacturers are seeing their sales going through the roof, record profits. How do you explain this?
Well, it's twofold. Anytime somebody witnesses something like Sandy Hook and they realize that lunatic violence can come into their own neighborhoods, there is a reason for fear, but it's mitigated after more information gets out. For example, if you look at all the mass public shootings over the last 20 years, they average about 18 people dead every year. We have closer to several hundred dead every month due to criminal violence in the inner city. So once people gain that perspective, the call for more gun control tends to dissipate, as it's already doing now. But for a short term, there is a dramatic spike because the politicians will propose new gun controls. People fear that they will no longer be able to acquire the firearms that they want, so there's a mad rush to buy more. Same thing happened under Bill Clinton in the year 2000.
Right, and we're still hearing from Congress that there will be some kind of gun control coming in at some point, but we still see gun control, at least gun sales, growing even further. I mean, gun sales are big business in the United States.
They are, but gun sales have been going up steadily over the last 30 years. Per capita gun ownership has been going up even as violent crime and violent gun crime has been decreasing steadily since 1993. So people believe that there's a utilitarian value in owning a firearm for self-defense, and more people are getting to some shooting sports. So gun sales are going to go up as long as people perceive they're either in danger or they find a fun recreational use for firearms.
Well, why do most people buy guns? Is it for recreation or is it for protection?
It's now for protection. There's been a recent shift in the polling on this, Before, there were many more hunters, there were many more sports shooters. That population is declining, but more people who are realizing that the police cannot always be there to protect them are deciding to go ahead and acquire their own means of self-defense.
And how do politicians reconcile restricting gun sales with the fact that this is actually big business in the United States?
You know, it's all gets down to ideology at that point. Some of our states on the East Coast, some of the New England states, have some of the nation's oldest gun manufacturers. And the politicians in those states are becoming more anti-gun, and now those gun manufacturers are relocating to other more friendly states. So it's purely driven by ideology.
And what about the export industry? And when I say export industry, I'm talking not about the military sales. I mean, those are done under completely different contracts, but export sales from gun manufacturers in the United States to other parts of the world.
I don't have the recent statistics on that, but America both imports and exports firearms. In fact, some of the most popular handguns in this country are made overseas. So there is probably a net export, but in the whole, given the number of firearms manufactured and put into circulation, it's not even an intrinsic part of the problem.
Given what you've been telling us, about the increase in gun sales, do you see tougher legislation on the way?
No, I think it's probably dead at most levels. On Capitol Hill, it's probably never going to be resurrected again this year. There's active recall votes on some senators who have voted for gun control at the state level. The politicians are going to be running scared over the next few months, and definitely in the next election cycle.
Okay, thank you, sir. Guy Smith there talking to us from Mountain View in California.